Conspiracy theories, eh? Wait till you get a load of this. Hello, and welcome to Cracked Sisters Conspiracies. We are a podcast that covers conspiracy theories, mysteries, and all over spooky shit. My name is Cassandra.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are said sisters. Oh my God.
Hi. Are you okay?
Yes. It has been a day. Getting to this point has been a challenge.
I agree.
We just finished making family dinner. We both look like hot messes, fresh out of the gym 2 hours ago.
Sunburnt
And you're
on my right ear.
in weird, questionable spots.
That I am.
Yes, because yesterday was the 4th of July.
It
was. Got to see some big fireworks, and it worked out well.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely would not have wanted to be there any longer than I was.
No,
so.
even like at the end of the show, I'm like, we could wrap this up.
Yeah, I'm like after
while.
about 10 minutes, it's like a half an hour show.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't need to be.
Like the ooh and ah wears off. Like give me the initial bursts and then give me the finale.
I agree.
I love the all at once when it's intentional, not accidental.
Yeah, that is true. At least no one got blown up this year.
No, there were no catastrophes this year, which cannot be said of, prior years.
10 years ago.
In our hometown.
Yes.
And I don't remember if it was like San Diego or some other place years ago, but it was a similar thing. Like, I don't think there was any like one injured in it, but all of the fireworks went off at once. So like the whole show was over in like 30 seconds.
Oh, that's a little
like, it was so sad. But no, it wasn't bad. Although I like almost drove off the road yesterday coming home from your place because I was driving down Erringer, and right before you get to the crosswalk where the wash is, all of a sudden you see someone run into the middle of the street. Someone runs out of the middle of the street. Boom, firework right in the middle of a main street. And it scared the shit out of me. I'm like, what if I drove over it? Yeah. Like, would that have been enough to cause damage? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I hope not, but
it's okay. I almost hit someone yesterday and she had the nerve to give me a dirty look. I'm like, fuck you. Get out of the street.
You know it. On 4th of July and any other major holiday.
Bro, it's one for all and all for one. I said, I don't give a shit. I'm getting out of here.
Right. So
I was about to run over babies.
It's essentially like a purge light.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Traffic rules do not exist, but so we all survived. We all have our extremities intact, and I hope all of you do too. I've seen a lot of ER photos of blown up hands. So they really are just so mangled. Like I wonder what it's like taking the x-ray. Is it just sacks of bone still in a fleshy case that they have to flop onto a plate to take an x-ray? I've always wondered. Or do you think, I don't know.
I think it depends on the injury.
Right? Or like if someone blows off their fingers but gets the fingers and is able to bring them back, do they put the stump and the fingers on in the same?
I don't think they bother with that part, no.
I mean, it's just something I've wondered.
And to switch the conversation to me, it's been a great week for me.
It has.
Minus working like 25
Every
hours
day.
of overtime. Otherwise, it's been great. We bought a house.
Woo!
And I got even better, baby. I won Nickelback concerts.
That is
or tickets.
Very exciting. Yes, you won.
I'm stoked.
Like tickets from a radio show.
I'm still 17%
Quasi-skeptical.
sure it's a scam, but worst case scenario, we drive out there. We gamble a little, we have some dinner, and we come home.
Right.
So,
there's not much to lose out on there. So
it'll be an adventure.
It will. That's the right way to look at it.
So what are we?
I was going to say, speaking of adventure, our topic today, I had all of my notes prepared. You saw them. They were in my hand.
I saw you hold a piece of paper that said, these are my notes.
In very large font. I had them all typed up and ready to go. And then I'm fairly certain, as you said, I think I locked them in my desk on my way out. So we are just going to raw dog from memory on this one.
Okay.
But the topic of conversation today is the Wayfair trafficking conspiracy theory.
Wayfair, you got just what I need.
Including children.
Okay. Yes, I do like that one.
Have you ever purchased anything from Wayfair?
Yes.
Really?
So I used to buy from O.co, which was overstock.com, which got shortened to O.co for no reason. And then that kind of, I think it's still in business, but it just kind of fizzled out. So then I started looking at Wayfair, and I've purchased some random like home decor from them.
I've never
And never once did a child pop up in the package.
Okay. In the package that you've received.
Correct.
Got it. Yeah, I've never really acquired anything because Wayfair in general is fucking expensive.
Oh, is it?
It is. They kind of cater to the more affluent
they're selling children
clientele. Even before all of this came about, it was not uncommon to see ridiculously priced items that you can get for $15 at Ross.
Oh, okay.
But it's like catered towards people that have too much money and don't know
what to do with it.
Yeah, how to spend it. So like that's kind of,
I feel like it was cheaper back in the day.
But this whole conspiracy theory came about in 2020.
Yes.
So back in the day,
good old Corona days.
It was the COVID days. And I really think what kind of prompted this is because the world was shutting down. It was a dumpster fire and people had nothing better to do with their time than to lurk on the internet. And so this particular theory came about from the one source that all terrible things come from, Reddit.
I thought you were going to say Wikipedia. I feel fucking bad for Wikipedia. I read a meme once. It's like, wow, imagine being a legitimate site for any source of knowledge and then your random college professor being like, yeah, you can't use it. It's trash. I understand you can edit it, but for the most part, it is legitimate knowledge. And like someone had to create that. And then it's just so dismissed. Like you couldn't even, when I was in school, you couldn't use it.
Well, it's because people take advantage of the open source, like being able to modify it. There have been instances, I can't think of who off the top of my head, but I've heard of people's biographies being completely.
I have heard that, specifically celebrities.
Yes. So it's like, while there are usually decent bits of information, I use it all the time as my knowledge source.
Bro, that's how all of you use it when you listen to me talk about my stories.
Right? And also, one of the other things that I used initially when making my notes, just to see how it was, ChatGPT.
Good fucking God.
Oh my God.
I have to hear about ChatGPT.
I wanted to see what it was like, but it was just, all it is fucking Google, but faster than a person.
And it's going to take over the world because of people like you.
So I prompted it with what I was inquiring about. And then I was like, well, this does not have the mustard, the flair on it that I need. So I ended up just kind of using that as some structural bones for my notes. And then
because that is how the robot people grow.
No.
They use us. They're like, oh, have this fun conversation with a robot. But if they're tracking your answers and your questions and how you want them to respond so they can get smarter. I don't know who was telling me this. Someone at work was telling me that someone at work told them that there was like a computer lab in, let's say, Alaska. I don't fucking know where it was. And it was an AI room basically. And something happened to where, Danny was telling me, something happened to where the AI got too smart.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, yeah, this is literally what all horror movies are made of. So they unplugged it, turned off the system or whatever. It found a way to reroute the power source through a different means and then turn back on. It's like, I'm back, bitch. So they literally nuked it.
Oh my God.
So maybe it wasn't Alaska. Maybe like Russia. That sounds like a Russian thing, but.
I know there's a movie called AI with
Will Smith?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't remember.
And I did just recently see Megan. The robot.
How was that?
It was surprisingly good. There was
it?
nothing else to see. So it was that or nothing. I saw it with Danny and his wife, and we had very low standards, but it wasn't your typical shit movie. It was really good. It was really funny.
Okay.
And that's basically the concept, is this robot is too smart for its own good and just fucking murders people.
I mean, I do feel like the robots are going to take over the world.
100%.
But I'm like, the whole like chat bot concept is not new. I'm like, I spent a lot of time on AOL Instant Messenger, and there was a chat bot. And when I was lonely and my friends weren't online, I'm really just putting myself out there. I would ask it questions because
do you love me?
Right?
Do you want to hang out with me? Will you be my friend?
Do you think so-and-so likes me?
It's not a fucking magic 8 ball.
Right. Well, you know what? It was what I had at the time. But back to Wayfair
Yes.
and their scandal. So like I said, this started in COVID times on Reddit, and it was initially just like a post, and the question that they were kind of putting out there, it's like, what if Wayfair, this giant company, was trafficking children through overpriced furniture?
Okay.
And so that kind of started the string of back and forth, and it started to gain a little bit of traction. And then there was, I think it's like a QAnon influencer who kind of picked up the story and then put it on Twitter. And then that started to really spread. And then next thing you know, it's all over Facebook. It's all over Instagram. And so a lot of people hopped on board because the board keyboard warriors have nothing else to do. But the overall premise is that Wayfair, through ridiculously overpriced yet asinine items like cabinets and pillows for $10,000, $5,000, was really, it's a code for people that were wanting to acquire underage children.
And weren't the names of these items, like, you know, like you go to IKEA and it's something in Sweden, but when wasn't it be like
the Bjork desk or whatever?
Robbie cabinets.
Yes. So things like the, you know,
like human names.
the Samantha cabinet, the Miranda
Were
desk.
you watching Sex in the City?
No, that's funny. That was weird. That was completely unintentional. But yeah, so they kind of picked up on that. So they're like, okay, it's overpriced. They're using human names. It's somehow a code. And then it became, they're matching it up with the names of missing children.
Oh, okay.
So just to kind of go through the points here, let's start with the fact that, yeah, their products have human names. That is not an abnormal thing. Sorry, I don't know why I'm yelling at you.
I don't know. You're like shaking the computer. You're getting very
Many companies
aggressive.
Use names for their products because it's more interesting than item number 3472, trying to keep track of that, trying to market it and sell it to people.
I agree.
So giving something a human name, so to speak. I used to sell shoes that had people's names as the shoe style.
Okay.
It's just, it is something that happens in business. That itself, not that alarming to me.
Okay.
The ridiculously overpriced component, a lot of the things that I had seen when I was looking this up, cabinets where it's just like a basic ass white cabinet, double doors, nothing crazy to it. And $5,000, $10,000. I'm like, okay, that is a little sus because that does not warrant being the price that it is. So that was a little weird. And then kind of a part B to that, not only was it the fact that there were mispriced things, but they would have pictures of seemingly the same cabinet, but with different names and different prices.
Oh, okay. So it's not a stock Jessica cabinet with 50 in stock. It's the same exact photo, the same description, but different names.
So like Jessica cabinet, same picture for $13,999. And then there would be what's another name that I could use? The Sarah cabinet, same fucking picture for $49.99. And so that's a little weird.
Yeah.
So those were the two initial components that started to get people's attention. And the first person that was like, oh, we're going to match this up to names of missing children. I don't know where the fuck that came from, but someone was like, I saw a report of a missing child with the name Samantha in my area. This is a cabinet, the Samantha cabinet, going for $59.99. And so the way that they were interpreting the post, like I said, that it's a code. So the Samantha cabinet for $59.99 is really 5-year-old Samantha that they're going to be. It was like the first number was supposed to be the age.
Where are you getting an age? Okay.
Yeah. So $16.99, 16-year-old.
Oh, I see.
So they were trying to like be sneaky about it. And so am I getting a cabinet or is a fucking kid going to pop out of it? I don't know. So
did you buy something from Wayfair about 8 years ago?
I didn't. No, she is all mine, unfortunately. I have the PTSD to prove it. But there were some internet influencers who were trying to bring the system down.
Yeah.
And so they had done a post where they were calling Wayfair trying to order like a $17,000 cabinet. And why are you trying to do it over the phone? I don't know. The internet, just click, see what happens.
Yeah.
But In their research, so to speak, the operator on the phone caught wind of the fact that, oh, you're trying to like get some information about this conspiracy theory. And then it just started going sideways very quickly. And they were like, shame on you for hiding this and blah, blah, blah. And
why wouldn't you just hit purchase? Like, that's pretty dumb.
right. So that was weird. But that's kind of how it started. And then it started snowballing where there's all of these posts, like they're trying to rope in like celebrities and how can they let stuff like this happen? We need to bring this system down. And on the surface, it just looks a little crazy. Mm-hmm. So to kind of rebut the arguments of this is what Wayfair is doing, clearly they were not having that shit. They're like, we're just a company that sells overpriced bougie shit to bougie ass people that have too much money. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of counter arguments for everything. So as far as using the names for different items, they use algorithms to name their products, which is a common thing, especially when you have a super huge catalog.
That is,
that takes a lot of brain power to try to name 15,000 items.
You can almost name 4 children's names. So yeah.
I struggled, man. So clearly they needed AI, you know. But yeah, they use programs to do that. Like places like Walmart does it, Pier 1. It's a normal thing in business. So that was kind of debunked, number one. The whole link to names of missing children. Thousands and thousands and thousands of kids are reported missing every year.
That is true, yeah. So the likelihood that you'd be able to match it is almost 100%.
It's straight coincidental. Yeah. How many fucking Samanthas are there in this world? And I'm sure they're cute and get snatched a lot, or, you know, they just go around the corner and their mom freaks out and can't find them. But regardless, they get inundated with calls and stuff. So the likelihood that the name of a kid is going to match. And as far as the pricing issue goes, their argument for that was a lot of the items, especially the cabinets, they're those monstrous industrial size cabinets. It's not the everyday cabinet for home. I fucking hope not. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of them, but yeah, they look like something.
It's the basic you buy at Walmart for maybe $150.
Right. Or something that you would see in a garage.
Yeah.
But it's even bigger than it looks when you look at the dimensions. It's because it's for industrial business operations. So those things are typically going to be more higher priced.
Yeah.
And also part of it is there's just the human nature issue because there's people that have to key in the prices. So there's typos that happen. There's just all of these different clerical errors is what it was chalked up to.
I had heard one of the reasons for the various pricing is that Wayfair is kind of like Amazon, in which it's a company that sells products, but also individuals have the option to sell their products.
They have third party. So therefore,
they can set their own prices.
Yes.
And sell through Wayfair itself.
Yeah, so there's like a combination of things. And then if there's a spike in traffic, sometimes they'll artificially inflate prices because they see a lot of people are looking at it. So, okay, 1, 2, they're knocking things out. And then one of the funniest things that I had read when going through all this, because the proof that the Redditors had was they found a girl. I'm going to butcher the fuck out of her name. I am so sorry. It is not a normal name. It looks like Samaya.
Okay.
Samiyaah. Samaya Moomin. But anywho, so they being the collective they on the internet, had found a missing child report for this girl named Samaya Moomin. She lives in Ohio.
Oh.
And coincidentally, there was a Samaya cabinet listed on Wayfair for like $12,899.
I'd get that.
That is not a common name for sure. I did not look up the commonality of it, but it's not something.
I've never heard it.
I've never heard of it either. But as soon as they saw that, they're like, well, you know, point A and point B, clearly this is all the proof that we need. So was Samaya actually missing? No.
Oh,
no. So that story started making its way around Facebook. And then shortly after, there was a video posted on Facebook from Samaya herself saying, hey, I'm not missing. I am very much
Oh,
here.
no.
I am fine. And it turns out that the missing person report that they had was really outdated information from like a year or so prior, where
Okay.
she was gone for about 4 days, but she made it back home in one piece. There was no evidence of trafficking, kidnapping, anything like that. And then there was another instance. I think it was a little kid in Maryland. I believe it was one of the M states. Fairly certain it was Maryland.
Okay.
Don't have his name, but he was a little boy. So normally it's like female names. But this poor kid, he was listed as missing, and he was misfortunate enough to be named with a last name that was also matching the name of a cabinet. So like Jones and Jones cabinet. Like it's not even the first name. So that already deviates from what they think. And this kid, he was missing for less than 24 hours before he made his way back home. It was an overreactive mother who lost her kid, and he was totally fine.
Okay.
So those are the two examples where it's just like, it's not what it is. Like, this is your proof. This is completely just debunked right there.
Okay.
And so one of the really shitty things about all of this is once the internet caught word of it and started spreading it around, there's like a national hotline for human trafficking and child abuse.
National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, as well as the human trafficking hotline.
Yes. And so they started getting inundated with calls, and it's just report after report of, you need to be doing something about this. This is what I think is happening. And it's all unfounded stuff. They don't have the resources to track all of this down. And what's really happening is the people that are calling that truly do need help are not able to get through. They're not getting the help that they need. Coupled with the fact that this was during COVID. So those that were truly in need were also trying to get shelter and all this stuff set up, and they weren't able to do that because the fucking internet was running wild with it. So as just for funsies exercise, I went to Wayfair and I did a search for myself and a search for you.
Okay.
And so the logic that I used was I was going to just search for each of our names, and then I was going to sort the results from highest price to lowest price to see what we are worth according to the internet.
And considering how my name is spelled a very specific way.
It is.
Let's see.
So
you're a lamp.
For Cassandra, we could acquire a steel-armed sconce for $3,654.
So by their logic of age, would the second person be 343 years old?
I think it's just the first number is what applies. So anything like before the comma. So
lots of 3-year-olds.
3-year-olds.
Okay.
I have not met a single Cassandra that is younger than I am. I
have not either.
I think
that's not a very common name right now.
Past the late 80s, early 90s, people were not naming their kids that. And so for Jackie, I did a similar search. So,
oh my God, I'm a living room set. I'm worth so much money.
So you need to actually read the titles. So do you see Jackie in there at all? No.
Okay.
The first instance of your name popping up.
I'm a vertical 2-drawer filing cabinet.
For $125.
You know what? I do love a good filing cabinet.
So, I mean, all that really proved to me is I clearly am a higher net worth item.
You're a lamp. Let's calm it down.
I am a
practical.
sconce, okay? I am heavy. You can beat someone with me. So what I did, here, let's just do... Yeah, because you had to sort through the shit. So I just searched for any instance of your name on this page. And the only actual product that came up was the $125 cabinet. And it's a little ridiculous for what that is, by the way. $125 for that.
And I bet you have to put it together yourself.
Oh, 100%. Totally not worth it.
So my logic here is...
Yeah.
Obviously, by the way, I've done zero research, so this is a very minimal input of mine. But obviously there are children that are missing, that are exploited, that are being human trafficked. That is a real thing.
Not a question.
Doubting that whatsoever. But the way in which people like pedophiles or bad guys acquire such children is so specific. It's through people like might giggle at the dark web, but the dark web is actually used. It's through networking of certain websites that lead into deeper rabbit holes that gets you to a door that is pet friendly, and then you go from there. So like it's such specific
circumstances
shit. So it's like it's not going to be blasted on a very well-known website just so easily available. Like you have to go through all the cloak and dagger just to get into like a chat room with people to discuss it, let alone setting up the meet, the buy, all this stuff. So it's like it's just impractical for such a secretive hush thing to be so wildly displayed.
Right. And like don't get me wrong. I am sure there are sites that are set up like pickyourkid.com.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, it's not going to be through some well-known company. Yeah. They would have way too much to lose by associating with that. And even the fact that there's the third-party ties where you can like list stuff, and who would be fucking stupid enough to do that?
Then you'd have to go through all those channels just to find your groups, your buyers, and say, hey, go to Wayfair.com and search whatever child's name and then sift through it.
And based on the age that you're looking for.
The price, high to low. Like, yeah, that's just, it seems highly impractical to me.
No, I feel like there would be a more efficient structure. God, that sounds fucking awful.
I mean, but you're not wrong.
I know, but yeah, so I am definitely not on board with this one.
As fun as it was, we all rode that ride, but I also agree, I'm not on that one.
And this whole thing was very short-lived. Like I said, it started in early COVID, so it was probably April in 2020 when it started popping up, and then I think by July it had been completely debunked.
I mean, people still reference it, but yeah, it's not really any.
It had its moment and it passed because it's ridiculous. If you actually stop to look into it, no.
That's usually where 90% of conspiracy theories fall away, is when you actually do one step further into research and what is massively being produced. But yeah.
How fucking embarrassing for the people that are
celebrities.
Oh my God. Those that were just backing it.
I mean, they're acting in good faith, I guess. Well, everyone wants to stop human trafficking, and especially children, but yeah, maybe think before you speak.
Right, because if it was truly a problem and it was brought to the authorities' attention, they would do their own investigation, which they did, and there was no evidence to support any of it.
If I was Wayfair, I would sue the fuck out of the top 10 richest people that just put me on blast.
Right? Yeah, so
defamation, yo.
What I get from this is Pizzagate vibes.
That's the first thing I was going to say. As soon as we start talking about this, is Pizzagate number 2.
And it's perpetuated by the same group of people.
And it's also kids and pedophiles. It's a similar equation.
Yes. And so I don't spend a whole lot of time lurking the conspiracy theory Reddit sites because
we literally have a podcast.
We do, but I'm scared I'm going to get sucked into it. The one time I did look at something, it was because we were in the grocery store. This was, I don't know, last summer or something. And there was this woman that we kept crossing paths with, and she kept looking at me, looking at Evan. Like, we had the whole family with us. We were legit grocery shopping, minding our own business. And then she'd be like, get the fuck away from me. And then she would walk to another aisle. And she's like, leave me alone with your gang stalker shit. And blah, blah. And
I bet you I know who it is.
And I'm like, I 100%
know who it is.
I don't know.
So I don't know. That's like a conspiracy in and of itself. With my job, I deal with people that have mental health issues.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, like, how schizophrenics, a lot of their paranoias and delusions is about the CIA, the government.
Yes.
So nowadays, they're not necessarily schizophrenic. I don't know what specific person I'm thinking of has. But gang stalking is a term. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how it got inundated into the mental health, but 90% of people I come across with that have whatever it is, they believe they're being gang stalked. They throw that word around constantly. They think everyone's out to get them. It's so specific. And I'm like, at what point did this get implanted into people's brains? It's so interesting.
Like, I was so confused. I'm like, ma'am, I am just trying to get a bag of spinach.
If it's who I'm thinking of, she punches people, so I would be careful.
Good to know. But yeah, I remember going up to Evan. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? What does this even mean? Yeah. And so he kind of gave me the down low. And so I went home and I went online, and it's like, you have the mix of both worlds. The people that are like, no, this is, really happening and I'm on the run and blah, blah, blah. And so they're out to get me and whatever. And then there's the sympathizers who are like, it may not be real, but it's real to them.
Yeah,
and it's
that's a good way to
usually
look at it.
because, there's some mental something going on.
And every time I hear people wanting to report these just elaborate, my dad was murdered and my brother did it, but he's in on it and the FBI is out to get me. I'm like, yeah, you're bananas, but 1% of your crazy story is always true.
Sure.
No matter how they twist it, there is always a little bit of truth in every single crazy person's story.
There's a
so
kernel.
I'm always like, you know what? I don't know. So we'll go with it, but.
And it could be the truth was that, yes, it did happen on a Tuesday in February.
Yeah.
And that could be all.
But you know what? Part of it's true. So I go, sure, I'll listen.
Right. And I think at the end of the day, that's just what a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah, they just want an ear.
With this, though, this is just bored fucking people on the internet under the guise of trying to do something good.
They are.
But going about it the 100% wrong way.
Yes, I agree.
So Pizzagate vibes.
100%.
100%. And I can't think about Pizzagate without cracking up because.
So on the crack scale, what do you give this Wayfair?
Oh, this is completely cracked.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah, it is bonkers bullshit. It was interesting, but it was short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't even a whole lot about it other than this is, 1, 2, and 3. These are the things that people think are happening. And I just imagine, remember Charlie from Always Sunny?
Yeah,
I think we've used that as an image.
On many of our images.
But yeah, it's like Samantha in Ohio went missing. This is a cabinet named Samantha. Mm-hmm. So it's always fun to put a story together.
Of course, yeah.
Especially if you get, likes, follows, whatever. So I'm sure some people are just in it for the sheer thrill.
Yeah, I would agree.
But not going for it on this one.
Sad but true.
Sad but true. Yeah, so Wayfair, I still will not shop from them, but it has nothing to do with the fact that I am
don't want another child.
Fearful of a surprise child, like some, stork showing up. I wonder. I didn't look. Not gonna look now. But is the shipping free at least?
On a child?
I mean, if I'm ordering a big ass cabinet and spending $12,000, I better not have a fucking shipping charge on top of that.
You know what? That's a good point. I don't know that. You should look it up.
They have unfortunately, I think for the most part, taken down all of those posts to rename them, recategorize them.
I'm actually surprised Wayfair, probably because it was so short-lived. I'm surprised they haven't done a rebrand like w.co or whatever thefuck.co was.
Well, it's probably because they're like, what the fuck is even happening right now?
I know, but now whenever I hear Wayfair, even innocently, that's the only thing I think of.
Yeah. So I think of the jingle and I think of
I do like the jingle.
Child.
Your marketing team. Good job on that one. All right.
But so what is your next topic gonna be?
So I have 2 options.
Okay.
I can do a personal request that we got, the Dancing Plague.
Oh,
Don't know what that is. That was Johnny's request. Or I could do one that I saw on Drunk History.
Drunk History, that show?
On
Comedy Central. Okay.
And it's about JFK and how he was on a super interesting drug that he maybe didn't know he was on. And how he ran the world while under the influence of said drug.
Interesting.
It was very interesting.
So only because I perked up more at the thought of drugs. Let's go with that one. And we will keep the Dancing Plague in the rotation.
Sure, of course.
Because, I do not know what that one is, but I've never
heard of it. But yes, we will go over it.
We will investigate that. Okay. Well, as she had mentioned, one of the requests was listener driven. So we do like feedback. You can hit us up on our Instagram. We have a growing fan base, which is so awesome to see. Our listeners keep ticking up daily and
we appreciate it.
We are taking over the world, infiltrating, all of the countries.
Mostly Africa right now, but hey, I'm with it.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know who would want to listen to us, but
at least 195 people.
Which is shocking to me.
I know.
But yeah, so we have an Instagram, Crack Sisters Conspiracies. You can always send us DMs there. Otherwise, you can email us directly at crackedsistersconspiracies@gmail.com. We have a Twitter and a Facebook. I mean,
Don't expect anything from it.
It exists, but unless you're our mother or friends of our mother, I don't know who is really perusing those sites these days. You know who's perusing those sites? People that perpetuate the damn Wayfair rumors. So I don't know. And then we have a Patreon, which I highly encourage you to subscribe to, because that's where you can get the fun behind the scenes footage. You can see us in all of our sweaty, gross glory and our unedited videos and everything else. So it's cheap. It's $1 a month. Like Jackie has said many times, for $1 a month, you kids feed 2 starving podcasters. And we have a couple other levels as well that'll get you more fun and goodies. But with that, I think we are going to call it a day. So stay cracked, y'all.
And have a great day.